For any of my ladies out there who have been contemplating uninstalling their dating apps because they are so tired of either receiving bum men, men who ghost them, men who turn out to be flat out crazy, men who turn out to be no good, or men that try to lead them on to get something, if you have been contemplating deleting those apps off of your phone, yet you haven't had the proper incentive, there's still a small part of you that feels like maybe you should just hold out. Maybe the right one will come along. I'm gonna have to seriously advise you against watching this movie, because the minute you do, you will hit uninstall on those apps so fast. So, if you have been holding on to hope and holding on to those apps in the hopes that somebody decent will come along, I would highly recommend not watching this movie. But for the rest of you who stuck around, let's talk about the movie Fresh. Now, this movie follows a young woman named Noah who's just trying to find love, and she's on multiple dating apps. You see, the thing of it is, though, she's experiencing the same thing a lot of us experience on those dating apps. Disillusionment, getting ghosted, people being deceitful, and people not being good with boundaries. From getting berated for not giving a guy what he wants, to having a guy send her an unsolicited image, Noah's starting to get a tad bit disillusioned. I'm sure we've all been there before, trying to have a nice conversation with a guy and all he wants to keep talking about is the nasty. But it appears that Noah's bad streak is over. You see, one day she's in the grocery store buying ingredients, fresh ingredients, for her dinner. And she runs into this admittedly very handsome man, and they start chatting it up and decide to meet up for dinner, to have dinner together, have a nice, wonderful dinner. But little does Noah know, this dinner is going to be a little hard to digest. Pun intended. You see, he forgot to mention one tiny thing about him. Full spoilers, just so you know. He's a cannibal who sells human meat to other cannibals. I would go so far as to say that if I saw that on a man's dating profile bio, I would go ahead and swipe left. No, thank you. That does not sound fun. That's one meet and greet I could definitely pass up. Okay, I'll stop. I probably won't stop, to be honest with you. So, unfortunately, she finds out as his dinner guest, she won't be going anywhere. And she is actually next on the menu.
Would you say the phrase, having you over for dinner, was a bit too literal?
Yeah, I mean, she really got put on the chopping block. I'm sorry, guys. So, at any rate, she makes her first escape attempt, and it does not go well. This results in him deciding to deback her, if you know what I mean. He amputates her ass. I don't know how else to say it. Now, while she's there, there's another girl she's talking to through the wall. But throughout the movie, you don't really get to see her until the end. You wonder what condition this girl is in. You get a slight glimpse of her, but that's it. They don't actually show you what's going on with her. You find out during the movie when she gets out, Noah gets out, and she's trying to rescue everybody else, because what she discovered was he had actually captured her friend. Now, Noah actually does a very good job of playing this dude, because my partner could tell you, she was starting to skeeze us out. We were starting to think that she was into this kind of stuff, but she actually wasn't. She was biding her time, if you will. Okay, I'm sorry. And trying to figure out a way out of there. But the moment she saw that he had her friend, all of her senses went into rescuing her friend and the other girl that was trapped there. And I love that. A real girls. Now, here's the thing. Her friend, Molly, the one I mentioned earlier, she started to figure, something's up. I haven't heard from her. And these texts look weird. And she reversed imaged or something because she's that girl. She wants to make sure that if she's receiving a text from you, it's actually you. Funnily enough, I had the same incident with my friend where I let her know that I was okay spending time with this person I had just met through text, and then I went to bed. And a few hours later, me and the person I was spending time with get woken up out of a really deep sleep. My phone is going off, and I keep setting it to voicemail, but it goes off again and again. After 40 calls, yes, I answered and said, "What?" And they're like, "Oh God, Octavia." I said, "Huh?" I thought it was somebody else bugging me. And I'm like, and they're like, "You didn't tell me you're okay." I said, "I texted you." They said, "No, fuck a text. I need to hear your actual voice. I need to hear you talking, and I need you to shut on the damn camera so I can see you. Too. I gotta see and hear that you are okay." And I'm like, granted. So she's one of those. Now she figures out something's weird, so she goes to the dude's house looking for him, and of course he's married. Didn't tell her that part, but I'm sure if he said, "Oh yeah, I'm married and I'm also a cannibal who's gonna sell your body," she may have been like, I think I have a dentist appointment that night. Just saying. Not so sure she'd want to do that. When you deal with a cannibal, you might end up biting off more than you can chew. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah. So she heads over to this guy's house and she speaks to his wife who has 2 kids with him, right? So she assures her that she has no idea what's going on, that she doesn't know anything about that woman, and her husband certainly isn't cheating on her or anything like that. So the husband comes home, and Molly's like, "Have you seen my friend? Have you seen Noah?" He goes, "No, and I don't know what you're talking about. He plays dumb." But Molly does something that's very brilliant, but very unfortunate at the same time. She calls her friend's phone, and it rings in his pocket. And he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." But he's standing right in front of Molly, so who knocks her out? His wife. Now, me and my partner don't know much about the wife, unfortunately, because they didn't really go into much with her, but it seems like she may have been an unwilling/willing by insanity participant, but let me know what you think. Now, my partner actually just brought something up. Well, I paused the video to talk to him. He's like, "I think she was actually trying to trick her into a false sense of security, and she was in on it." But I'm wondering if that was like his old doll, and if anyone knows what I mean by that, you definitely are into horror stuff. Because he was getting really attached to Noah, so I'm like, oh, you were probably going to be the replacement for her. But at any rate, I couldn't quite figure out what her spiel was, but she definitely was a part of it. And Molly. Oh, Molly is such a G. My partner was howling when she got at his wife. And she's like, "Women like you are the problem. I went to you for help." And it's like, damn. My partner could tell you, she beat the shit out of her with that shovel. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Oh, and he probably should have listened to Guts from Berserk about his dealings with women, because Guts would have seriously advised him against that plan, because Noah bit something off. No, she literally bit this dude off. I'm like, that's what you get. That is what you get. Yeah, which is how she incapacitated him and then was able to save her friend. She earned his trust. And then she incapacitated him and was able to save her friend and the other girl. Now, the thing of it is, a few things that bug me about the movie is I don't know what happened to the other girl. Now, Molly had to leave to go and protect protect her friend. But I'm sure she's okay. But it was actually a very, very good movie, if just a little bit hard to chew. There were certain parts of the movie where I was actually really enthralled and fascinated. The music scenes are so unsettling, but I think that's the point. Like, he's dancing around to this happy music, and you if someone had shown me this clip out of context, I'm like, "Oh, this is a happy chef cooking." And then if they told me that part, I would have never known. And that's what weirds me out so much about this movie, and I love it. But let me know if you've seen the movie fresh. If it was, let's say, palatable enough for you. Or if you find it tough and tasteless. I'm sorry! Okay, it's too easy! Okay, I promise. I'm done now, because these jokes are really stale. Okay, now I'm really done, but tell me what you thought of the movie for real. Hey, I just wanted to put this quick little edit in here. As I thought, his wife actually did have Stockholm Syndrome. She was one of his previous victims, and they got into a relationship. So, yeah, it's what I thought. I'm like, okay, so she's associated with him by insanity, because she definitely is a few nuggets short of a 10-piece.